Welcome to the WDW News Today podcast. I'm Eric Morton.
I'm Tom Corliss.
I think it's
unfortunately
episode 71.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, don't say that. Don't be mean to yourself, Tom. We've got a big week ahead of us. Tampa Bay ComicCon in Tampa, beautiful downtown Tampa.
I thought it was in Fort Lauderdale.
No,
based on the name that the Tampa Bay.
No, someone got mad that we referred to Tampa Bay as if it's not a region that they name sports teams after and everything.
Yeah,
they're like, it's Tampa. Yeah, and Tampa's part of Tampa Bay, which is part of Florida, which
it's literally called. They're called the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And the Tampa Bay Rays, even though they're in St. Petersburg.
Yeah,
I don't know. I know people in Dallas get mad when you call when they say like the Super Bowl's in Dallas this year, and they're like, no, it's in Arlington. We paid for that stadium, not Dallas.
Look, no one has an argument except the state of New Jersey. A different state literally hosts all these major sporting events at Giants Stadium or MetLife Stadium. And people say, oh, it's in New York. It's not in New York. It's not even necessarily that close. No. It's across the river and through the marsh to grandmother's house we go. So, look, you want to fight about, it's in this city, it's in this place. There's literally a state, the state of New Jersey, that doesn't get to claim their own sporting events.
When I was a kid, they were called the New York, New Jersey Jets.
And there was a period, wasn't there?
They just went back to being the New York Jets.
But the Giants never would relinquish. They would always be just the New York Giants.
And in fact, I remember a time not that long ago, let's say 15 years ago, when they were talking about building a Jets stadium in Midtown, like Hell's Kitchen area or Chelsea. And that's where that
was a train yard, wasn't it?
No, I think that's where Hudson Yards is now, all that development. We went there.
Yeah.
And I think that was the area where they were going to build a stadium. It would have been amazing and also awful.
Oh, the traffic, forget it. It would have never worked. Like, it was... I remember hearing people say it was like all for show. It was just like, grandstanding, because how would that ever work? How would you add a professional sporting venue of that size to New York City? Like, if you've ever been to Madison Square Garden, that's a headache enough.
I think like Midtown Manhattan is so dense that you're like, can we absorb 75,000 people? They're like, yeah. Like,
I don't know that you can. Like, think about what happens at Madison Square Garden for 20 or not even 20,000 people.
Yeah.
What does that hold? 16, 17 for
it's
most
pretty big.
events?
It's probably around 20. Who knows?
For NBA, it's probably like 16 or 17. Yeah. For music, a little more, I think.
But I've been there. Like, there's a rooftop. There's a just northwest of there. There's a bar that has like a rooftop on the corner. Like when I used to stay at the New Yorker a lot, and there's a bar there, and you could look at Madison Square Garden. There's a Rangers game going on. You wouldn't even know it.
Yeah, not until it lets out.
Yeah, it lets out, and you see some people in jerseys, but it's not like, because New York is so big and densely populated.
And because Penn Station's like in the building, they just go, like, they come out and they just go down. They just go, whoop, and they're gone.
I don't know how we got talking about that topic, but it's an interesting topic.
Because it started with people mad that we called it Tampa Bay ComicCon.
Yeah.
And what comes to mind is there are sporting events and teams and such that say they're somewhere, but they're actually, because it's more, it's more illustrious to say my event was in New York City and not the Meadowlands in New Jersey.
By the way, did you hear like the FIFA World Cup is coming to the United States?
Yeah.
And FIFA is forcing these places to rename their stadiums for the World Cup. So, like, there's games at Arrowhead Stadium. They have to rename it to Kansas City Stadium and cover up all, like, sponsorship, like GEHA Field and all that. It's all covered up with FIFA stuff. And it's just so, like.
Well, they have their own sponsors.
Right. MetLife Stadium is going to be called New York Stadium or New Jersey Stadium just for the World Cup. Like, I don't know. FIFA's weird.
FIFA's weird. There are a lot of things to criticize FIFA over. That's the one where I'm like, well, yeah, if they're not sponsoring the actual event, I mean, I guess that makes sense then.
But it's the name of a place. I mean, it's the name of a venue.
But it's true. Like, Eric, when you were younger, like, how many of the stadiums were named after corporations as opposed to now? Yeah. Like, look, in my life, even, I'm not terribly younger than you, but even in my lifetime, most of the stadiums when I was a kid were not named after corporations. But
yeah, I mean, I guess in Kansas City, it's still Arrowhead, and then they just sell the naming rights to, like, the field, right? I don't know. Arrowhead's not a corporation that is sponsoring it. It's just what they named it.
Oh, is it just the name?
Yeah, it was just.
Oh, so that doesn't make sense. Though.
It doesn't make. It was.
I mean,
it's been called
MetLife,
Arrowhead
yeah,
Stadium my whole life.
MetLife, SoFi, like those. I'm like
Raymond
those
James.
Yeah, like those are companies.
Right.
That being said, I assume part of what we're getting way off topic, but I assume part of what they pay for is like, well, if I own the building, then when a sporting event is here, they will have to say the name of my company because it's on the building.
Stay tuned for more exciting coverage of the General Motors test track coming up soon. I guess we could just call it test track. Do they get mad?
Presented by General Motors.
Yeah.
It was GM test track originally.
Yeah. You lose track.
It's the last Epcot pavilion with a sponsor. They were the first signed on in the 70s, and they have remained through to 2025, and everyone else
Speaking of MetLife,
is gone.
you had the Wonders of Life, wasn't that?
That was MetLife, yeah. Snoopy was in that building.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this should have just been an episode about sponsorships at Epcot. That's actually a decent topic to talk about.
I'll write that down.
You should write that
Sponsorships at
down. Like
Epcot.
all the sponsors, Exxon Mobil, Bell Services. Which was
not the
then
button on your
AT&T.
phone in your hotel where you're like call Bell Services,
Yeah,
but no. I think what would be interesting
Bell
is
Atlantic, maybe.
let's come up with or Southwestern Bell or
Whatever it was. Bell Systems.
Yeah, Bell
That was
South.
it.
There was Bell South,
But it was
Yeah, Bell
specifically the
Systems, yeah.
sponsorship was Bell Systems on Spaceship Earth. Yeah.
What I want to know is, let's say there's some dream scenario where you get some big windfall and you're suddenly a billionaire.
Figment.
Would Disney take your money to just be like the Tom and Nick Pavilion?
No. We would have to start a company that's not WDWNT and like wear mustaches. And we start this company and it doesn't even matter what the product is, but we're like, well, Matt, it's imagination, right? So imagination could be anything. Imagination fuels any creativity. So it doesn't
Right.
matter what the line of business is. We just start the company, we put on fake mustaches, and we call Disney and we're like, we would like to sponsor the Imagination Pavilion.
Why not? Why not give it a shot?
What's your product? We sell. What are we selling? What are we gonna make? What can we?
Oh boy, what do we sell?
Just like bumper.
We sell
stickers?
bizarre snacks, of which we don't have any on this episode.
Peanut butter snack company. They'll be like, would you like to sponsor the Land Pavilion? No. No, I've heard you have a boat ride that people just jump off of at any time. I don't want to be associated
Not
with
unless
that.
you want to replant the entire greenhouse space with peanuts
It just
for the peanut butter that we make.
It's just a fully peanut farm living with the land. It's all peanut.
At the end, all
People,
the photos.
the kids with peanut allergies are like protesting outside the ride. My kid can't ride this ride.
Instead of the like sullen tomato girl and all the characters at the end, it's just all Jimmy Carter. It's all
Sullen-
Jimmy Carter growing peanuts.
The sullen peanut boy. It's just different poses of the Planters Mr. Peanut.
Oh,
It's
no.
just him like sad and happy and like fixing his monocle, but they're all just all in order, like with different color backgrounds. But we keep the song, the dun dun
Yeah.
dun 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 dun.
Can you imagine being that artist and they're like, hey, Tom, I need you to draw Mr. Peanut but sullen.
Do you think there are not depictions of Mr. Peanut in every? He's been around for so long. Do you really think they don't have depictions of him with every possible emotion?
You never know.
I think he's like Mickey Mouse. Like Mickey Mouse must have every possible emotion ever covered.
They make the interns do that type of work. And I can see, like, I guess major newspapers always have an article prep for every famous person that could die. You know what I mean?
Mr.
Like,
Peanut died.
Yeah, Mr. Peanut, like they might have all the poses just in case they need him.
He did die, and he was reincarnated.
Are you serious?
You remember? It was a Super Bowl thing.
They killed Mr.
They
Peanut? in the
killed
Super Bowl?
Mr. He like was saving someone, and he exploded. Like the car exploded or something, and then they're like, "Oh, Mr. Peanut," and then a new baby Peanut was born. This is a real thing.
Is that how you make new peanuts?
No.
You explode?
This is why we need a ride about peanut production so people know that's not how you get new peanuts. Do you know how many people you're injured by exploding peanut accidents because they think that's how peanuts are made?
We have a George Washington Carver animatronic telling people like how peanuts are produced.
But it doesn't look like him.
They don't turn into like peanut butter when they explode. I don't know what happens to peanuts.
He just died. I don't know. And then he became like, it was like the Baby New Year. You ever seen that the Rankin and Bass thing where there's the Baby New Year? So every year, like the baby just gets old until it's an old man on December 31st, and then it dies, and then there's a new Baby New Year, and that's how the Mr. Peanut cycle, I believe, works. Also,
quick disclaimer: we don't have anybody on the computer helping us record this, so if we're out of focus, if we sound bad, it's probably my fault because I figured out where the record button was, and that's when we started.
Based on our conversation, no one's gonna care anyway.
Probably not. Yeah, you're welcome to skip ahead to timestamps.
Non-peanut related discussion.
ComicCon,
Yes.
coming up. Tampa Bay ComicCon. It's a big deal.
August 1st.
It's no San Diego ComicCon, but it's for us. It's a big deal to get a booth and to be on panels there. You can come by and see us. We have a booth on the floor. I wish
1016.
1016.
Yes.
All right. Booth 1016.
I have this memorized.
And come see us. We're going to have stuff for sale. We are launching in the next couple days one of our coolest products we've ever launched for Carousel of Products, right? We're not going to tell you, but it will be within the next 72 hours or so, I think.
Wigs members first.
To Wigs members first. Yep. I've never been more excited for a product.
This was your brainchild.
This is my baby. So hopefully people like it and buy it.
I got to show it. We did the Zoom with Tom on Sunday, so the Club 33 level and up Wigs members got to see it, and there was a big reaction.
Was there an audible gasp?
So at first, like, because it's just a photo, people were like, "Is that this thing?" And I was like, "No, it's not this thing. It's actually this thing." And then people were like, "Oh my goodness!" I'm trying not to give anything away. And they were like, "What?"
Yeah, so that's going to be great. Wigs members, that's our Patreon group that supports us. And at the 33 and above level, they get a monthly Zoom call with Tom, and he gives them all kinds of information that is top secret.
Yeah, I previewed all the upcoming Carousel Products merchandise. We talked about travel that's coming up. We talked about cruises.
There's a lot of travel.
We talked about Disney Starlight some more. It's my favorite topic.
Disney Starlight. Today we got the big breaking news. Of course, I had already recorded the news today. Tom was unable to record the news today, so I did it. And of course, I get done, and then I get to my desk, and it's like breaking, like the annual pass holder restrictions have been lifted. I'm like, well, I guess I have to go back into the studio. Such a tough life, Tom.
Should we complete the plug for Tampa Bay ComicCon, though?
Tampa Bay ComicCon,
We didn't give like the dates or anything.
It's this weekend.
August 1st through the 3rd. Our booth is 1016. We have a special limited edition of 1,000 giveaway each day. So all 3 days there is a different giveaway. I also showed the Wigs members this on Sunday.
They're really cool.
They're very cool. They're only for this event. We're not going to do anything else with them unless somehow there's some left. But they're giveaways at a convention that has 30 to 50,000 people a day. So I doubt we will have any. There's only 1,000 of each. One on Friday, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. Different one each day. So you'll want to be there at least one of the days. If you can be there all the days, they're very cool and they're free, and you should come get them. They're first come, first serve. And beyond that, we have my Linda Larkin panel was moved to Friday, I believe.
Oh, no, I just plugged
you
that
plugged
as Sunday
again? Yeah, it's okay. I don't know that I have confirmation. I think it's now Friday evening, which is why I asked you when dinner was. No, it's fine. It's clear. It's clear of dinner. We're all right.
Okay.
So Linda Larkin is the voice of Princess Jasmine in Disney's Aladdin and all the ancillary. I mean, she's pretty much come back for anything they've ever asked. So I think she's been Jasmine in almost everything she's ever appeared in. Has a spotlight panel, a 50-minute panel on Friday night that I'm hosting, which is very cool. Then on Saturday, we're bringing in former Disney Imagineers and Universal Creative employees, Jason Sorrell and our good friend Paul Osterhout. And they're going to host 2 panels. There's one at 2 p.m. I don't have in front of me which one is which, but there's one at 2 p.m. and one at 7 p.m. They're in, I believe, Ballroom D,
That's
I want to
correct,
say.
yes.
And then at 6 p.m., in between all of that, I am part of the Disney Parks YouTube Super Panel. I don't know who else is going to be there.
Super panel.
I don't know who else from Disney Parks YouTube is going to be there, but someone else or maybe multiple other people will be there. And we're going to talk about ourselves and doing YouTube, I guess. And then Yeah, and then those 2 panels, but also the other cool thing is Jason and Paul are going to appear at our booth on Saturday. They'll both be signing stuff. Jason was the author of those fantastic books, The Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean, From the Magic Kingdom to the Movies. Came out quite a while ago. And the Disney Mountains book as well, if you happen to have those. I don't know that we figured out if he's bringing any or not, but we'll have something for him to sign regardless, I believe. And then Paul Osterhout is going to be signing he can actually sign 2 of our giveaway items. Not to give away what they are, but also we'll be selling the lithographs we had for the event, which would be our last 2 events, Muppet Vision 3D and as well New Tomorrowland, because Paul was very instrumental in both of those projects. So you can come meet them at the booth, get a photo, get something signed, and Paul will be there Saturday and Sunday. Jason will be there just Saturday. And then all those panels and presentations are on just Saturday, with Friday night being my Linda Larkin feature panel.
I'm really excited, and it's really weird for me because I before I moved here, not 5 years ago or 6 years ago, I lived in Tampa for a very long time, and I haven't been back very much at all, even though Tampa's not that far away. And downtown Tampa looks totally foreign. When I go there, it looks totally foreign from when I lived there just in like 2019. It looks like a totally different place. So I'm excited to go down there and have a good time. Yeah. There's still some cool stuff I can show you.
Okay.
If we have time. Who knows?
I don't know when. They're long days.
Right.
Conventions are a lot of work, and they're long days. I hope we have time. I know at least we're going to go to a nice dinner. Although I think Nana had an idea for dinner on Saturday that she's been going on.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's Nana, so everyone's heard about it.
I did start to plug the wigs, the WWNT Inner Globe Society, the Patreon group.
My wig is plugged,
and and so if you want to learn how you can support us, we'd appreciate your support. As little as $2 a month. At $7 a month, they watch us do this live sometimes, although Tom and I are too technically incompetent to start that stream for the wigs right now. So they're not participating as we record this live. We're just going to have to do this and without their moral support in the chat. So thank you,
they're
wigs.
here in spirit.
WDWNT.com/Patreon or Patreon.com/WDWNT.
Either way, it'll get you there.
That's right. All right. Before we get to our topic of the day, Tom, we have the segment we call the Voices of Literacy.
Oh, do we have something?
Email me at ericm@wdwnt.com. And I've printed this out on our printer. My glasses are... Oh, boy. I don't know if we do or not. I don't know.
Did it not? It didn't print.
I'm like, oh, boy.
It didn't print. It's just like 4 letters on a piece of paper. I can't read any of this.
I can't read it either, but I figured I'd bring it in here anyway because I thought it was funny.
Nothing here.
That's the technology in this place.
The tower of printers fails again.
We literally have like 6 or 7 printers.
7.
I don't know if any of them work because usually Jason just comes across these in garage sales or Kickstarter campaigns, or I don't know how we get these. But anyway, this is from Taylor. Taylor says, "Hi, Tom and Eric. My name is Taylor. I've been watching your channel since the pandemic, and I've learned so much from both of you while watching your podcast. A few weeks ago on the news, Tom, you mentioned that Muppet Vision is now in Disney attraction heaven alongside other beloved attractions. However, you also mentioned that Stitch's Great Escape is in Disney attraction hell. I was curious what other defunct attractions you would consider are smiling up at us in Disney attraction hell. Thanks for all your hard work. I hope to visit your museum someday.
I hope so too.
Sincerely, Taylor." Thank you, Taylor.
Sounds Dangerous starring Drew Carey, which I think is the single worst Disney theme park attraction of all time, slightly below Beauty and the Beast Sing-Along.
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast Sing-Along should be in attraction hell, but somehow it's hanging
alive.
on. It's keeping itself in purgatory for an undetermined amount of time.
What do you think?
Oh, boy, Stitch's Great Escape is a really good one.
Yeah.
What went away that was really bad?
Lots of things.
I mean, lots of things did. Stuff that people liked went away, but I'm trying to think. There's got to be
bad things.
You're
People
right,
didn't
though.
like Tiki Room under new management, but I don't know
I don't know
that that deserves to be in hell.
Yeah, I don't think it really counts.
I don't think it deserves to be that far down.
I like your answer, especially because it replaced Monster Sound Show, which I thought was very good.
It was a bad concept. And it's a shame because our good friend Paul Osterhout actually worked on Sounds
Paul worked
Dangerous.
on it.
And like, I should have this conversation with him. I should have a Sounds Danger. I believe he worked on it. I'm pretty sure. I should talk to him about it. Because I'd love to know more about like the concept, and I don't know. It was just weird. It was just you sit in the dark and listen to headphones and nothing happened in the theater. It was weird.
Yeah, and I remember the booth, the 3D sound booths in the like exit area.
Those lasted through everything.
Great.
That was from Monster
from
Sound
Genesis
Show
all the way through.
all the way until like not that long ago, like when they finally sealed it up when they put the Mickey short thing in there. What else was terrible? People hated American Idol, but I love that.
Yeah, I don't like it. And well, I was a big fan of. It doesn't matter.
The Legend of Jack Sparrow.
What about Prince Caspian?
I was going to say everything that was in that building.
Yeah.
Narnia, the Narnia attractions,
Yeah.
and the Legend of Captain Jack Sparrow,
Yeah.
which I didn't think was terrible. It was kind of a projection mapping like technology showcase. Mm-hmm. I thought it was okay. People hated that.
I have
It didn't live long.
such good memories of so many things that are gone. But I think some of them might have been objectively bad back in it. Hollywood Studios got rid of so much that was original.
A lot was
to that
built
part.
to be temporary too.
Yeah,
though.
and so it's hard to come up with like pick something out of a hat that's like was objectively bad because I kind of liked even some of the stuff that was bad when I was experiencing Disney back in the 90s. So I don't know. I think our answers are pretty good. There's got to be another one from hell.
What other bad extinct attractions were there? I mean, if you want to go to Disneyland, Rocket Rods.
I mean, an attraction.
But some people like that. Like, it wasn't completely hated.
There are things that.
Superstar Limo.
Oh, Superstar Limo. Yeah, if we go out
Superstar
west,
Limo.
Superstar Limo was that's
Yeah.
definitely smiling up from hell. Yeah. What about Golden Dreams?
Golden Dreams is not perfect. It was not great. I think the song. I love that song. Do you know the song from the end?
I don't remember it.
It's
off the top
Golden
of my head.
Dreams is essentially the film version of the American Adventure if the American Adventure was only about the state of California. But there were some odd choices made. Number one, it was hosted by
Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg. Oh my God. I'm thinking of we made a joke about Wrinkle in Time and that's still stuck in
and
my head.
Oprah was in it.
Yeah,
Reese
like that
Witherspoon?
joke is still stuck in my head.
If
Whoopi
Billy's going to be
Goldberg-
editing this late at night, but you're welcome to insert your commercial in here at some point, Billy.
Whoopi
We'll pause
Goldberg
just
as Califia, the spirit of California, and it had its moments. There were some head scratching moments, which was like the Asian people that get blown up. That then goes into the montage. You're like, those people just died, and then it becomes an uplifting musical montage, and it's the weirdest transition imaginable. It's people throw around that word woke now. If that scene was in an attraction now, people are like, that's so woke. I hate that. Blah, 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 blah. They were trying to like tell everybody's story. I think it's admirable that in 2001 they were making an attraction that's like, let's make sure we tell the California story of everyone and those, including those who didn't have it easy. And there was a noble effort. It was in the same vein as the American Adventure. They tried to tell the real story. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But there was an artistic effort made with that attraction. There wasn't a budget. It had to be just a film. But there was an attempt. People tried.
Yeah, I think some of it's tough to do historical stuff, right? Because there's also like recency bias where certain things that are controversial, like they can address topics from the 1800s that were controversial back then because we have the benefit of like a few generations in between us and when that happened.
Yeah.
Where I think it's okay for them to say, we were imperfect, right? We're a growing species. We learn, we adapt, and things that we did in a certain time period maybe aren't okay now. Or, obviously they directly kind of say that in the American Adventure, right? They're like,
the American Adventure is perfect.
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely perfect. They are like, where we're going to stop World War II.
Yeah.
That was 40-something years ago.
right, we'll put Vietnam in the montage, but
everything later's in the montage, and so they don't take a side, and not that anything takes a side, but they don't, because they're worried about the recency bias. They're let's just show that it happened and it's part of our story, And that's for a later generation to talk about.
I think
take
it's
it just
tough.
from World War II.
It's tough to figure out how you're going to do that because there are really some cool scenes that they could have from historical events that have happened since the conclusion of World War II.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are people obviously that served in World War II who have been in the audience and sat through that show. But I think you would have a theater full of people who participated in Vietnam or had strong feelings about things that happened in Vietnam or that lost someone in Vietnam. And I think that was a good, obviously the Korean War, those type of things. And I think there's a tendency for people to only mark history by wars as opposed to, the American Adventure does a good job of sort of chronicling things that aren't just wars, that are, from great inventions and the genesis of national parks and all these things. I know there's this sort of draw to marking your historical moments through wars, and that can be very controversial, but they touch on some of it.
That's
and
what's
they do
perfect about it, right? Is like the world wars obviously have to be in there.
Right. They do say things like, we found out that we the people doesn't really mean all the people. I don't remember the exact line from the American Adventure, but they do.
But then there's also criticism of the military, which I think is they really played it fair.
Yeah.
They had these great triumphs. It's we have to enter World War II, and but then at the same time there's criticism of that. It's very balanced. It's a very balanced show. I love that's addressed from a couple of guys sitting listening to the radio at a gas station.
Right.
I love the way that's framed.
Yeah.
American Adventure is just such a beautiful piece of art, and they like you said, they could have went wrong a million ways in picking the moments for that show, and I think they didn't. I think they nailed it.
I think there are moments that would be cool to add to that show that are not necessarily just war, conflict, all the things that you kind of, when you watch the History Channel, that a lot of it's marked by that they could do.
Yeah.
But I think what they did, sometimes what you don't do is as important as what you do, right? Editing is the art of taking things away to make something better. And I think in that case, I look, that show probably due for an update, right? Epcot's been open over 40 years now.
God,
but I would be
Epcot
terrified
50?
To watch them change it, though.
Epcot 50, they finally update it. Could you imagine?
I would be terrified to watch them change it.
They'll never spend the money. They'll just update the montage. You know what? That's okay because it was done so well. And things are so polarizing now that I think it'd be okay. I think you just update the film, and we learned that, right? We learned that in the last update. Yeah. Elon Musk is in the film, and look what happened there. He's such a divisive figure now.
They have taken people out and put people in.
Yeah,
it's a living
and that's
type
but
of
that's
montage.
It shows you that if people if you start to include people in animatronics form that are still alive, things can happen. Right. So don't do that. There are great examples in Disney parks history of capturing historical figures or entertainers and then being Bill Cosby's head in the Hall of Fame at Hollywood Studios comes to mind, but also, if you had chose to jump forward a little and it's someone that's still with us, there are some concerns there. You never know what someone might do.
Some kind of scandal could break. You could find out information you didn't know before, right?
Bill Clinton in the Hall of Presidents, Richard Nixon in the Hall of Presidents. I mean,
there's been a lot of controversial moments.
Yeah.
Some of these things they have. Some of our founding fathers had some problematic stories, and they deal with.
We're all human.
What did they do that contributed to where we are as America? And I think that's probably better than focusing on all of their faults because.
But if it's more recent,
people are flawed.
If it's more recent, people are going to talk more about those flaws, right?
Sure,
I think that's the problem. And
the bust, I forgot about that.
We just updated the Hall of Presidents, and the world is in a lot of turmoil, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Could you imagine it'd be pretty crazy if the day comes with any of these attractions about American history or anything that covers current affairs, if the attraction had to be closed to remove someone, which has been talked about before. Ellen's Energy Adventure, I think she came out in the 90s and immediately, she wasn't invited to the grand opening because no one knew what to do. ABC was being bombarded with, you let a lesbian star in a television. Yes, it was a different time, kids. You let a lesbian star in a television show. Oh my God, you misled the public, blah, 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 blah. Like she literally filmed this attraction and wasn't invited to the opening of it. And I believe there was conversation about, do we have to do this over? What are we going to do?
I think politically, we're in a place in this world where you can absolutely see a politician wanting to remove a rival politician. Like, whatever you want to say about our current president, if he said tomorrow that he thinks we should rip out presidents that he didn't like from the Hall of Presidents, whether or not you agreed with them, you can believe that it might happen. Like if I told you that happened, you'd be like, "Oh, really? That doesn't surprise me."
We live
and
in
I think any of
the
his
craziest
enemies,
time
thing,
in mankind where it is harder and harder to surprise us as people. I think we have lived through a pandemic and like nothing seems far-fetched anymore in this world.
I forgot about that bust of Bill Cosby, though.
Yeah, see, like it's happened before. Like there's been people where something, a scandal comes to light and everyone's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Speaking of bust, did you see Happy Gilmore 2 yet? There's a bust of him, and like all the busts look like the people except him. They made him like it's terrible.
I didn't see it yet.
I was terrified to watch Happy Gilmore 2 because I thought it was like they're going to try to just hit all the same notes, which you have to do when you have something that's been that long. Kind of like, was it Coming to America too? They kind of, you're like, you expect certain things from it. I thought it was going to be bad because there were all these cameos that were announced, and how do you get like 74 people rushed through here? And I had maybe it's because I had a bunch of buddies that I don't see very often all over at my house. We had a little golf gathering this weekend. People flew in and drove in and whatever. And there were moments we were howling with laughter. It was, I'm not saying it's a great piece of cinema. I'm saying it's 10 times better than I was prepared for it to be. Happy Gilmore 2 on Netflix.
I got to watch it.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
My good buddy MJF is in that.
MJF?
From AEW.
Michael J. Fox?
He's in the movie. Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Oh, I don't know.
He's in the movie. Does he play his son?
I don't know who he is.
He plays his son or something.
There are people that play his sons. He has several sons.
Oh, does he? One is.
I thought someone said that they were all his real sons, his sons from real life.
No, let me look. Let me double check that.
I don't know. I think his real daughters, or at least one of his real daughters, is in it. You're welcome to look.
MJF Happy Gilmore 2. Who does he play? He's not a cameo. He's literally a secondary character.
Okay. I will say, like, I knew there was going to be a Travis Kelce cameo, and I thought that'd make it dumb, and he was really good and funny. And Bad Bunny, I couldn't look. I know Bad Bunny is famous. But I'm not sure. Like, I can identify a Bad Bunny song or something. But he is hilarious in it.
He's great at everything.
Yeah.
Going back to wrestling, I mean, he's wrestled a few times. He's great at it. He's amazing.
Bad Bunny, multi-talented man.
What did he play? Why is it so hard to find this? Oh wait, hold on. Now I found it. Happy Gilmore 2. Gordy.
That is one of his kids. Is named Gordy.
So he plays.
So he's a fairly young-looking guy.
He's in his 20s. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a huge wrestling star. He actually watches our program sometimes.
Well, hello, MJ.
I've spoken to him. I don't know that he watches.
Good job.
The podcast,
I love the movie. Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't know who you were.
Love him from Long Island, New York.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Long Island. Yeah. We do have a topic, and I know people get annoyed when we ramble on too long, but
ramble a long
most of our audience
time
likes the rambling more than they like the topic. I don't know if that's true, but
who knows?
I don't know. Anyway, we want to talk about Marvel in Disney, like what Marvel in your Disney.
We're going to
ComicCon,
parks,
and we're going to ComicCon.
Fantastic Four just came out.
Still
haven't seen it.
It is getting phenomenal reviews.
I gotta go. I might go tonight.
It is getting phenomenal reviews. Like for a blockbuster superhero movie to be 87% on Rotten Tomatoes and like 93% on a tomato meter with audience like verified viewers.
Yeah,
that's special.
Do you know what else was great?
Superman
was fantastic.
Yeah,
I loved it.
But it got slightly less than. I just happened to look at it yesterday on the website. It got slightly a lower score than Fantastic Four, but still really good. And I think from the stuff I've seen, I'm dying to see what they do with Crypto, the dog.
It's a lot of the movie.
A misbehaving, like if
It's
only
definitely
I could
Poppy
identify
with a
with a misbehaving
It's
dog.
Poppy with a cape, is what
I need to
would
get.
say.
I want to make Poppy crypto for Halloween. I'll get her a little cape.
Do you mean like you want her to be crypto dog, or you want to make Poppy like digital currency? What are you saying?
Why not both?
Poppy
It's not like there hasn't been cryptocurrency based on a dog before.
Doge.
Yeah. So
Can't say that anymore. Anyway.
So where do we start with this? So Disney acquires Marvel in 2009. Is that where we start with this?
Just a couple weeks before the D23 Expo, the first one ever, that earth-shattering news comes out. I remember, I'll never forget where I was, like sitting there writing that story and just being like, what? Like, what is this world now? Disney owns Marvel. What is this world going to look like? And I think the first thought everyone had was, oh, man, there's going to be Marvel. What's Universal going to do? And then, like, shortly after, everyone realized, like, oh, the contract means they don't have to do anything.
Yeah, Universal can keep doing that stuff. In fact, I remember buying, like, a Captain America hoodie at Universal, like, the next day because it was cold. So, what a weird moment in time. And you think about it, to me, like, I've been familiar with Marvel and its characters and stuff my entire life. But Marvel was never, like, to me, a premium brand. And I think for all the things that have happened and all the failures that Disney's had along the way with Marvel, that if nothing else, they elevated Marvel IP to a premium level where it wasn't quite before. I think Marvel was sort of fractured around and passed around, like farmed out to whoever wanted to pay for the rights. You know, so I think Fox had Fox had X-Men and Sony had Spider-Man. And
Fox also had Fantastic Four.
And Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fox had Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And the movies, you know, and really I'm like, I didn't know a lot about the Avengers. Obviously I was familiar with Captain America, the Hulk, from when I was growing up. I knew Iron Man existed, but it wasn't like, so that first like Iron Man movie came out and I was like, oh, this is really good.
Yeah.
And they really hit a lot of like home runs up front quickly, and then I realized...
But a lot of that didn't happen before the purchase. That's the crazy part.
Yeah. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, like, when they bought Marvel, it wasn't like a guaranteed thing. Like Marvel, like people know those characters, but it wasn't like, oh man, they bought the biggest thing ever. But shortly thereafter, they became the biggest thing ever because the first Avengers movie was just a couple years later. It was already like they're already building to it. Iron Man was out, and I don't know if even I don't think the next two movies had come out, which I think was Captain America and Thor.
They had made a Hulk movie that was
Universal,
non-Disney.
yeah.
That was under.
But it was
Universal.
still part of that series.
Correct. So it was like part of the universe, but not part of the universe. But not. I don't know.
It was part of the universe, and then it kind of got.
But I think when some people say MCU, what they mean is like kind of the Disney. I think now it's come to mean that like Marvel Studio. You know, there's this sort of fractured thing between what's Marvel Studios versus what's a Marvel.
But the Sony,
movie,
like the Sony
IP.
Spider-Man movies are
Yeah.
MCU. They're part of it. And Hulk, the Universal Hulk movie was MCU as well. And in fact, one of the characters from that film came back just recently. So it's part of it. But
it's very strange. And I think one of the most interesting things that Disney did that I don't want to skip too far ahead in our conversation. One of the most interesting things they did is me as a non-Marvel expert, as a just sort of as a normal, regular Joe, was they knew at the time they couldn't make Spider-Man movies. They couldn't make Fantastic Four. They couldn't make X-Men. Those were like their biggest prizes, right? And they took like, I don't want to like denigrate the Guardians of the Galaxy, but like they started taking sort of junior varsity stuff and turning it into billion-dollar movie franchises.
To where they're more well-known than...
Correct. So I thought that was really impressive to just take something that the general public didn't really know about. I'm sure comic book people were familiar with...
Oh, yeah, but like the general public, like it blew my mind that people didn't know Iron Man. I think I was just exposed to Iron Man in the 90s through the animated... The Spider-Man animated series was a big deal, and there were a couple other like spin-off series. Iron Man was one of those, and so I knew who Iron Man was, but I was like, well, that's not top tier.
I was familiar with Iron Man as like a guy in a suit that would fly around. I didn't know that Tony Stark's, I didn't have like all the details of Iron Man, and certainly didn't really know anything about the Avengers except that they existed. I couldn't have told you who the members of the Avengers were.
Same.
And even though, as a kid, I'm sure I had all these characters, but I didn't read the comic books.
Yeah.
So I think like to take something like Guardians of the Galaxy and elevate it to $1 billion movie franchise is really interesting. And we'll get back to MCU. The other thing is like Big Hero 6. It's Marvel.
Yeah.
It's not MCU, but it's Marvel.
It's Marvel.
And I had no idea what it was. In fact, I was like, wait, do I need to go see Big Hero 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 before I see it? I didn't know better, right?
Yeah.
Like Big Hero 6 is like the group of people, I guess. But that'd be a good trivia question, like name them all.
I can do it.
Okay.
Do you want me to do it?
Hero, Baymax, Go-Go?
Go Tamago.
Go-Go? I don't know.
Honey Lemon.
Honey Lemon.
Wasabi.
Wasabi.
And Fred, right?
Fred. But I think there might be another one. Like, I think when I looked it up one time, it was like the comic books had a different group than.
Oh, yes. They absolutely did.
They're slightly
switched.
different. The group is slightly
they
different.
switched some, for sure.
But yeah, Big Hero 6 is Marvel. Who knew?
That was like one of the first things. They made the deal, and then Disney Animation was like, we're making a movie. I was like, what? Yeah. Huh? And I, like being very protective of the brand, this was all happening very fast. And like Disney animated movies are Cinderella and Pinocchio and Dumbo and Fantasia and Bambi. And they've always been original.
Not an inflatable robot?
Not original content, but they've been based on literature in most part. And then there's a part of you that you have to be like, hey, dummy, comic books are literature, and it's really not that different. And a great movie idea can come from anywhere. But it was part of it. It felt like sacrilege to be like, oh, they're going to make one of the Disney animated feature films in the legacy of Snow White is going to be based on Marvel comic books.
I remember like
it was so weird. Now that sounds like a home run. Like, why would you not? But at the time it was announced, I think people were like, "What are you doing?"
Like I didn't grow up. I grew up with my grandma had this box of like old comics. She called them funnies, but they were stuff like Archie and all that, right? I didn't have a lot of superhero comic books as a kid. I was familiar with superheroes. I probably had action figures, but I think as an adult, when they were making the Watchmen movie, I remember like buying the graphic novel to be like, I want to see what this is all about, and reading it and being like, why would you ever want to make a book any other way than this? This is such good storytelling. Yeah, I still don't read comics. I should because I love it. But I just, I think comics have their own culture where you sometimes it feels like overwhelming to like pick something up, and then there's so much more you have to learn of backstories of characters and like to understand appearances that other characters make in a different comic. And sometimes you feel like maybe I'm just not in the know enough to do this. Right? Were you looking something up?
I was double checking the names. We got them right.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Got him. All right, Big Hero 6. Good job, Tom. Let's put that in a trivia question somewhere. I think we want to talk about Disney specifically. The movies are important, but I think like we want to, as parks fans and people that go on cruises, to talk about like Marvel experiences, in the Disney experience. So
I mean, the movies are definitely to blame. Like all of our almost all of the park experiences are based on the movies, even if they don't directly connect. They're based on them.
Correct.
Yeah.
So now we can't have Avengers here in Florida. Their agreement with Universal includes basically that Universal has the theme park rights in Florida for that, and Disney can't do anything about it unless they can reach some sort of arrangement, which I think we're hopeful that might happen one day. But what? So now we have Disney owns The Simpsons. They're in a Universal park. Disney owns Marvel. They're in a Universal park. It seems like there was something else. Does Universal own anything that's in a Disney park? I don't think so. A Universal has a sort of different business plan, right? Where Disney pretty much sticks with their own stuff and puts it in their parks, or they've done a couple like Avatar, like collaboration.
And then they bought them anyway.
And then they bought them anyway.
That's what literally they did. They're like, the first crossover was with George Lucas.
Yeah, and then they bought
Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and they bought them, and then Avatar, and they bought them. And Yeah, that's what they've done.
Where Universal, like they've got a whole new gleaming theme park that has really wonderful stuff, but like they don't own Nintendo.
Two
they don't
of the
own
4
Harry
portals
Potter,
are not theirs.
right? Yeah. So
Warner Brothers and Nintendo.
yeah, maybe. I mean, licensing good IP. I think if Disney had the opportunity to license Harry Potter back in the day, and they probably would be better off if they had done that. But it would certainly would be a totally different experience.
I think it
going to
worked
Disneyland.
out okay.
I think it worked out well for everybody.
It's the way it needed to go for the sake of the industry and probably for the sake of the product. Because I've talked about this before, but the word on the street was she was extraordinarily demanding. And they basically said very nicely, like, you can't have every guest in the park wait for a brick wall to open for you to go into the land.
Right.
And she didn't want to deal with it. And then the irony is, 2014, you open Diagon Alley and the brick wall doesn't even move. There's just go through.
I think it's well done, though. I think it's well
It's
done.
a beautiful land, but it's just funny that she was like, I will not concede on people must go through the leaky cauldron and through the wall. And then years later, she's like, oh, a pile of money. They can go wherever they'd like.
She's pulling a Saving Mr. Banks, Mary Poppins type of deal where, no, you can't do that. That's ridiculous. Hey, money talks, like you said. Money, please.
Money, please.
So where do you want to start? Do you want to talk about Avengers Campus at all?
No, should we go in like sequential?
Okay,
order?
go in sequential.
I don't have a list, but I'll go off
I'm
of
sure
memory.
You have the memory
for me, I believe it all began. We can talk about Disney World for a second. So Disney World was allowed to do a couple of things. Movie previews of certain Marvel movies could happen at Walt Disney World. So Guardians happened. Did Doctor Strange happen? Either way, Doctor Strange got a show. Yeah. Hollywood Studios had a show with Doctor Strange, which you could watch here on the channel somewhere. And that was pretty crazy because we were like, they can't use anybody other than Guardians, can they? And then that just showed up and we're like, this is, wow, okay. Didn't last long, but it was there. And then, once the Guardians movie preview happened, I think it always was waiting for the other shoe to drop. It's like, well, they're going to get a ride, right? If you had told me it was going to be at Epcot and replacing the universe of energy, I would have told you were insane. But then Epcot took a turn, a very drastic turn at that point.
I don't remember those. I have a dark period in my Disney history, but I think my first memory of seeing Marvel in a Disney park was at Disneyland. There was like an Iron Man experience.
That's what started. So upstairs at Innoventions, they built like the Hall of Armor, and you could go to that. And then they built meet and greets. You could meet Captain America and Thor up there. And so for a while it was Launch Bay. Well, I think Launch Bay came later, yeah. Eventually the bottom was the House of the Future of Innoventions.
Right.
And then that went away and became Launch Bay. And for a while it was Star Wars on the bottom floor and Marvel on the top. And I was like, this is interesting. And then I think the edict came down. Someone decided like, hey, we're going to build a Star Wars land at Disneyland. It doesn't make sense to do Star Wars and Marvel at this park. So we'll anchor both parks. We'll build this new great Star Wars land here, and we'll put Marvel across the way. But for a while, they inhabited the both parks, and it felt like Tomorrowland was inevitably going to become like the Stark Expo, and that was the direction.
Right.
And then that ship sailed, and it never happened. And instead, you got Avengers Campus, which maybe, I think someday we'll hear more of how it all began. But Avengers Campus being very tech-focused, one might assume like maybe that got its beginning as what they thought maybe Tomorrowland would be.
Yeah, and I have to say that in its current state, I don't feel like Avengers Campus anchors that park at all. I think it's
I don't think it was what it's supposed to be.
I don't even consider when I'm walking through there, now this might make me a bad theme park fan or something, like it never even occurs to me to go ride web slingers when I'm in that park.
It's not great.
Guardians
is great, but it wasn't. It's not really part of the land. It's kind of its own thing. It was there before.
Yeah.
No, it was a dud. There's no doubt that land was a dud. Like Chapek, his administration, like after Pandora, the things you started to see after Pandora were finally, he got the job in 2015, and it takes a couple of years to make projects happen. So you were still seeing like the lasting effects of the Stags era, and then you got to 2018, and you started to see Toy Story Land and Pixar Pier, and finally you get the COVID era, and you get to Avengers Campus, and that opens, and everyone just goes, oh, Oh, no. And that's because they budget cut away $1 billion e-ticket that was announced for Hong Kong and then announced for California and then didn't materialize.
Yeah, I think it's obviously they're doing more there, but right now in its current state, it's really a weakness of that park. I feel like Pixar Pier and Avengers Campus being in the same park, it's a wonder that park is still nice to go to because I do love that park. And I don't know why I love that park, except Cars Land, obviously.
Buena Vista Street.
And Buena Vista Street. Like
Redwood
all of
Creek's
that.
pretty.
There's so much strong stuff surrounded by like big money blockbuster movie lands, Pixar and Avengers that are just bad.
No money was spent on these things that are established. Marvel like Galaxy's Edge. Like Galaxy's Edge at least had the money behind it, and it. You know, we could talk all day about did it succeed or did it not, but at least like it had the money behind it. You look at Avengers and you go, Avengers Endgame opened to $1.2 billion in one weekend, and this is the land. This is the output for this. Like, what are you doing? And that I'm glad. Like, look, Iger came back and Josh D'Amaro got the chair at Parks, and I think immediately the realization was this land is not good. How do we make it good? It needs more to do. And then, you know, while Chapek was there, Infinity Defense squeaked through. He wouldn't let Josh announce it. He had to steal that announcement. But it got through. And then in the time since, they're like, you know what? That's not enough. Let's do another ride. Let's do this. Let's go get Robert Downey Jr. to actually be in a Marvel attraction because that's what people want to see.
Yeah. I think that's great. You know, and I feel like the land became, I think somehow the streaming stuff weakened that land because it suddenly became a backdrop for like these like, I don't know, C-tier character appearances of like Moon Knight and what's a Devil Dinosaur?
Oh, Moon Girl?
Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. And
Moon Girl, Moon Knight.
Miss Marvel and like all these kind of very like not e-ticket type of Marvel
I will say
characters.
I like that it rotated so much. I think it was cool that there were reasons to come back constantly to Avengers Campus. I don't know that it weakened it. I think Marvel weakened itself. Yeah. You know, bad decisions were made for sure. Do I think it weakened a land that consisted of a outdoor show space that essentially was a concrete floor? A ride built into what they could fit inside a 3D theater and a budget cut fast food restaurant that they knew they didn't have enough seating for, so they turned the queue of the Hyperion Theater into a seating area because they knew they didn't build enough seating for the restaurant.
I think what I mean is it felt to me, especially a couple years ago, walking through that land felt to me like the whole purpose of that land was a runway to market and showcase streaming shows that I had no interest in. You know what I mean? I go there and I'm like, who is that? Oh yeah, I heard of that show, but nobody watched it. You know, I felt like as a magic key when I can go whenever I want, that's great. Well, most of the time I want. But if I were taking my kid there, they want to see Marvel. They want to see their like heroes. They want to see the like A-list, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to see.
But they were there.
Yeah.
It was adding on.
Yeah.
I will say, but when something hit, like the magic of Loki, that marketing, that every week a different variant of Loki showed up in Avengers Campus, that was cool. Yeah. That was neat. So sometimes it was a little bit of who is that?
But again, it still felt like a commercial. It felt like I was just being advertised to. And I mean, there's room for that in theme parks, right? I mean, Sleeping Beauty Castle was built before the Sleeping Beauty film came out.
Yeah. And then
Walt was doing this.
Literally, the Electrical Parade you know and love started in 1977. It's the second version. And they built a float for Elliot Peach Dragon. Do you know when that movie came out? That summer.
Yeah.
It was they wanted to promote it. They built that float. That float became an indelible part of that, the most famous piece of that entire parade. You could argue a little bit for the drum, I guess, but really Peach Dragon is you associate that with that parade, and that was built as a marketing thing.
As someone who was growing up then, when that happened. That like there are a lot of those Disney movies from that era that are stamped on my childhood. I can't, like The Rescuers, Pete's Dragon. These are things like your normal average person, kid especially, doesn't know these properties, right? Rescuers, they kind of diminished by, Rescuers Down Under and all that.
Oh, I don't agree. I think that's as good, if not better, than the original.
Maybe. I don't know.
You unfortunately grew up in the dark age of the Disney company. You were actually, for everyone that complains like about the Bob Chapek era, which I certainly do, for people that complain about the end of Eisner, the actual worst, like the dark ages other than the parks of the company is that 70s, early 80s. Like it's rough.
Well, also we didn't have like
the
a VCR.
Devil and Max Devlin, and like it's rough.
We didn't have a VCR, so I grew up on those books that you would turn the page when you'd play the record with the book and turn the page when it made the boom. Yeah. And we used to wear those Disney records out as kids, right? Especially the Rescuers.
Yeah.
And
I loved those characters.
And Pete's Dragon.
But honestly. it's a hard period for the company. Other than the parks were great.
I don't know if you know this, Tom. There was a time, I've probably said this on the show before. There was a time when we would go rent a VCR on a Friday night. We would go to a movie rental place and we'd pick out like 2, 3, 4 movies and rent a VCR and they'd pack it up in a case for us and we would take it home and then on Monday we'd go return all the movies and the VCR.
When I was a kid, it was video game consoles.
Yeah.
You could rent the whole console if you didn't have one.
Yeah. I'm aware that existed, but I don't think I ever rented a video game.
But I think both of those,
games.
We are both so old that both of those things would now like astonish someone. So.
Oh yeah. Well, think about, even when when this Marvel purchase went through, they couldn't have imagined the importance of the streaming and all the other things that are important now that had no significance back then when that was made. If you would have told them, hey, by the way, in like, I don't know, 12 years, you're going to run into a big fight with Scarlett Johansson over streaming revenue.
Or 10 years from now, this thing that only has this Iron Man movie and like nothing else to it is going to have the biggest movie of all time.
Right.
Like it couldn't have been predicted. I mean, it ended up being a good purchase because Bob Iger felt Disney didn't have a lot of strong boy franchises, which people now will be like, oh, boy, there's no such thing as boy franchises. Yeah. But that was their thought was, well, the princesses are real strong. Our Disney Channel, Hannah Montana and High School Musical and all of that, it's all very strong, but it tips this way a little.
But also, what if we had some characters that could beat the crap out of someone?
What if we had stuff that, like, there is a segment of the entertainment world we do not succeed in, and it's action, it's live action adventure, and stuff like toys for boys. We don't have a whole lot. Let's go that way. And then they went overkill, and then they got Star Wars and literally owned, every boy toy ever. Yeah.
I think they really caught something in like lightning in a bottle with Marvel.
Yeah.
Because there's every Marvel movie I'd seen before, they were entertaining, they were fun popcorn movies, but they didn't have, there's a certain humor and stuff that came along with a lot of these movies, especially like, I feel like by the time you get to like Thor Ragnarok, you got, I think that was Taika Waititi, right? They were hilarious.
Yeah.
And that was something they didn't really have before. The superhero movies were they were fun. They were a little more heavy though. Yeah. And I feel like they really hit their stride. And even some of the things that didn't hit, I have to say are not bad. Like I recently watched the new Captain America movie.
It's fine.
I expected to give it like 1 star out of 10. And it's like a 5, 6.
But they went
halfway.
They went on a 20-something movie run.
Oh.
Where they could not be stopped.
Their streak was incredible.
And I don't know that I think anything was even remotely bad. Like it was everything, it just hit after hit after hit. And they just kept going. And then you didn't think they'd get any bigger. And you're like, they're making a Black Panther movie? I don't even know who that is.
Killed it.
And it ends up being this worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. That character, I mean, obviously culturally incredibly important at the time of its creation. But could anyone have fathomed that would be a headlining character like the whole world would know. Like that one is more shocking than Iron Man, and for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, a character that represents people who have been, had a hard time being represented in film, and like an all black starring cast, and people like Disney rolled that dice. Like they're like, you want to do that? You guys haven't failed yet. Go ahead. They not only rolled that dice, it was bigger than anyone could fathom.
Yeah.
It's an amazing, that is a, beyond even like Endgame and all that, that is a cultural moment that will change all of history.
Yeah, I agree with you. And they did it with, like, nothing against Chadwick Boseman, but compared to, like, Robert Downey Jr.'s star power.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Robert Downey Jr. could have really probably gave a huge boost to Iron Man before it ever even was released.
I think he did.
Where Black Panther was really kind of based on a slow kind of groundswell of like interest in Wakanda and interest in like all this technology. Like it's a very creative land and sort of backstory of Wakanda. And yes, more people. It's more people identify with it. Probably you're making a tent a little bit bigger for fans to go look at it and stuff and introduce people that might not ordinarily do that to like a more sci-fi type of thing and feel like, oh, this is something that's for me too. And I think like Black Panther was such a shocking surprise how well it did.
And that was the moment where I think everybody looked and went, Guardians was the first one, right? Guardians was the first one where everyone went, okay, like this train is finally going to stop. Like there's a talking tree and a raccoon in the same world as Robert Downey Jr. as a billionaire playboy philanthropist. Right. And then I will never forget they did a Parks Blog event where we got to see that early. And I remember every moment of sitting in that theater and thinking, this is incredible. This is one of my favorite movies I have ever seen. And to that point, like I got on the Marvel train. I only got on that train when it was a week before Avengers came out. And I was like, well, my friends bought tickets. They're like, we're all going. I was like, okay. And so that week I put all those movies leading up on, and I was like, oh, these are pretty good. But then seeing Avengers, I was like, oh, okay, this is something. But then Guardians was the one for me where I was like, they've got this. They're on to something, and they cannot be stopped. And then Black Panther was, and this is going to sound incredibly offensive, but it's sad. But what was the bigger risk? The bigger risk was not the movie with the talking tree and the raccoon. The bigger risk in pop culture was a black-led movie, and to their credit, like it changed the world. That's an amazing thing to be a part of.
Yeah, credit to them. Look, they hit their stride at this point, and it seemed like they couldn't strike out. Everything was, And
then Endgame happened.
Everything was a hit,
and everyone's like, "Oh, there's more."
Right. Well, then you're like, what happens to Captain America? What happens to Iron Man? All these. Yeah, and then all the people who read the comic books are like, oh, I know.
Yeah.
And the rest of us are like, someone explained it to me, and I think I know. And then next thing you know, boom, a bunch of streaming, series, and some of them were good, and
the
some
first
of them were
two,
not
like
good.
WandaVision and Loki, people were still on board. I
actually, controversially, I really liked Hawkeye.
I didn't think it was bad.
It gave me interest in that character that I didn't previously have, because I think the weakness of some of that was like, I'm not going to name all the combatants in Civil War that were fight. I don't remember who's on whose team.
That was another. I forgot
stuff.
about that too. That was a whole moment.
But at some point you have people with superpowers in a fight against other superheroes who don't have super. You're like, oh, this is Thor. He's a god, and he can harness the power of thunder. And this is, this is Captain America. He's a super soldier. Or even this is Iron Man. He has like amazing technology. And you're like, well, who are they fighting against? Like, this is Black Widow. She's really good at karate. And this is the Hawkeye. He can shoot arrows. And you're like, well, this is pretty stupid. And I think Hawkeye, like, they were able to explain the power of these characters. Even I didn't really like Black Widow as much. I thought Black Widow was good.
I've still never seen
Well, I thought Florence Pugh was good in it. But I
I
thought
mean, she's great in Hawkeye and everything else I've seen her in since. But
but I felt like Hawkeye was it gave me a new perspective on the characters and stuff, and it made me like it more.
mean,
and
the
Haley
highlight-
Steinfeld was hilarious.
the highlight. I mean, Rogers the musical was
Oh God.
an incredible thing. That's a park thing. That was.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I went to California and saw that. I think did we end up seeing that? Was that the
Yeah.
Country Bear trip? Was that what that was?
Probably. We had the worst popcorn I've ever had. I know that.
Yeah.
They tried to give you like red, white, and blue popcorn, but it was
So we had a random
flavored and terrible.
summer California trip because someone was selling a very large collection of Country Bear memorabilia, and we thought that we should have that. And so Eric came out with me to purchase it and pack it and ship it. And in the midst of that, at some point, I think we were like, let's go to the park. And that's when Rogers the Musical was playing for a limited engagement at the Hyperion Theater in DCA.
I think we managed to stuff ourselves with some kind of food. Like I imagine, I think was that the San Francisco food preview?
That was our last day.
Yeah.
The last day the menus launched, yeah.
We had a work reason to be there other than just the Country Bears. There was other stuff we did.
Yeah,
we did work, but
we were
mostly
going
packed
for
up
Country
stuff.
Bears, and there happened to be a couple things we could do, and seeing Rogers was part of that. I'm very glad we did because I thought that was wonderful. That was a wonderful show.
It was fun. It was fun. I mean, the highlight is that song, but it was a fun.
But there
show.
was other good. They created some other good songs. The performances were great. I really love that, and it's a shame that had such a limited run. It never returned, and that's the end of it. I hope it's not. I hope someday more people get to see that, but it will really depend on Marvel bouncing back, which we're still, don't get me wrong, Fantastic Four First Steps had a solid, in this era, a great opening weekend, $118 million, but I don't know that we're at the point where someone's going to believe in Rogers the Musical.
I was shocked to see the reviews of Fantastic Four because I think they're kind of a forgotten IP to me at this point. There's been so much superhero stuff in between the last time I saw them and now.
And they had a movie, like that last movie was atrocious.
And to see the reviews are so good and people are so excited about it, I'm very relieved because I thought for sure this is just going to be another like whatever, like Marvel fatigue has set in, and it's hard to it's hard to keep your spirits up with so much stuff that's been, more mediocre or not as well received. Even the good stuff, I feel like people are just sick of it.
Yeah.
So it's good to see something that energizes people.
I think it was fresh, right? Again, I haven't seen it, but just the fact that it takes place in a different world.
Yeah.
You didn't have to worry about connective tissue from other movies. You had a good cast that people were excited
good
about.
time period.
It's the 1960s aesthetic and vibe is people need some optimism right now in the world. And it was the right time for this film, and it's good to see. But I think Marvel knows, like, okay, we got this, but we have got to string a couple more together in a row now to get this train back up to speed.
What are the worst Marvel experiences in Disney parks and
There's been some bad
parks resorts experiences?
I'm trying to think.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple that I think are bad, and then we'll talk about good stuff. Okay, and I haven't been to Paris, so I haven't seen some of the things you've seen. I will say Worlds of Marvel on Disney Cruise Line is really pretty bad. The food is bad.
The interior's not
the
great.
The story's kind of stupid. I think Andrew said in the channel, or somebody said, like, I don't love having to follow a storyline while I'm eating at the end of my day. When maybe we were on a shore excursion, or maybe my family was all split up doing different things. We want to talk at dinner, and you go and you're interrupted every 5 minutes by Groot pulling a plug on something and all the lights going out or whatever. I felt like it was a big miss for me. Like they missed something, and now they're putting it on its third ship. The Destiny's going to have Worlds of Marvel.
It's too late now.
I think that's a pretty bad experience.
It was too late, I think.
Yeah. What
It was
about
too late to alter course.
What about the Iron Man coaster in Paris?
Oh, yeah,
What's
it's
it
pretty
called?
bad. Oh my goodness.
How come we can't remember that?
Avengers.
Flight Force.
Flight Force, yeah. Avengers Assemble Flight Force. It's rough. I like the pre-show with the Iron Man animatronics. Great. He's great.
Yeah.
And look, it was Rock and Roller Coaster. It was bad Rock and Roller Coaster, and that park is rough. It's the worst Disney park in the world. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. I like that Avengers Campus better, but in the grand scheme of things, it's still be below expected Disney quality. But that Ant-Man buffet, oh my God, the Pym buffet is one of my favorite things in the world.
All little and big foods.
When I took my parents, the kick they got, I didn't tell them anything about it. You go up, my mother was taking her plate, and she sees like the giant Oreo cookie and the mega hamburger. She's just laughing. Like my mother does the thing I do, we kind of bounce when we laugh. And like my mother just like losing it as the guy cut her a slice of hamburger. I will never forget that as long as I live. It's just such a fun, like the Pym counter service in California is fine. Yeah. They have good stuff. There's good drinks. The food's good.
Pym test kitchen.
But there's nothing to see. Like it's one little interior where you pick up your food, and then like the giant ketchup and mustard is fun. But the outside seating's like you just sit outside and you're like, this is boring. In there you have that motif, but then also like all the food is such a part of the show, and it's such a spectacle what they came up with. In Paris, not known for their food and beverage. Yeah. People deride them. People hit them hard for how bad their food
French
and
people
bev
have high
is.
standards for food and drink.
Yeah, but I think they did an exceptional job. That buffet is very, very good. The food quality is very good, and the show quality of the food is superb. Oh, highly recommend. If you go to Disneyland Paris, I think it's such a fun time. That and Bistro Chez Remy in that park. It is the worst Disney park in the world. I find myself defending it because there are a handful of things I adore in that park. The Pym restaurant, Bistro Chez Remy, and two of the best shows I have seen anywhere ever in Together, the Pixar musical, and Mickey and the Magician. Those are outrageous shows.
I've only been to Pym Test Kitchen at DCA and the Pym Tasting Lab, which is the bar outside.
They're good. Food's good.
Tasting Lab has those. You might see them at. Yeah, I don't think I've got anything.
I like the shawarma.
You might have seen them at like a baseball game or something. They have the plastic cups for the beer, but it fills up from the bottom. There's like a valve in the bottom, so it fills it from the bottom. You know, it's always fun to.
Yeah.
I know I'm still fascinated by technology. It's been around for a while.
But yeah, so the first attraction, the first ride was Hong Kong. Hong Kong got the Iron Man experience. They had a big empty plot in Tomorrowland, and they got the Iron Man experience, which would be the beginning of their Stark Expo. It's not Avengers Campus.
Iron Man Tech Exhibit, is that what it's called?
Well, that's the meet and greet. So they got the meet and greet, the store, and what is essentially Star Tours, but Iron Man. I was real disappointed the first time I went. I have now been on this like 20 times, and it's grown on me a lot. I think it's pretty fun. It's not great. It's not earth-shattering, but a park needed something. It's Iron Man. It feels like Iron Man, even though Robert Downey Jr. is not in it. It feels like him. And man, if they go re-record this now that he's like working with WDI, that would be spectacular. It's a fun, cute simulator ride. It's very
That's 2013, right?
No, it's too early. There's no way. Was that early?
I don't know.
It was announced in 2016.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Iron Man Tech exhibit was.
I guess they opened that first. Yeah. Okay.
2017 was Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, replacing the Tower of Terror at DCA.
Iron Man Experience was 16. Oh no, 2017.
Yeah.
Oh, it hit the end of 2016, December of 16.
Okay.
So 2017, at the beginning of the year, you get Iron Man Experience. Yeah, I guess it wasn't. It felt like there was such a big gap, but it wasn't. Only 5 months later, you get Mission Breakout at DCA. But the timetable on that was nuts. That was Bob Chapek challenging them, like, how quick can you turn an overlay around?
Yeah. That again is not an attraction I feel like I have to do every time I'm there. You talked me into riding it for my first time, and I really did enjoy it. I thought it was a good time, but it also is the Disney attraction that's got me in more trouble with Lee than any other. Because I told her, like, oh, it's not like the Tower of Terror. You're not just free falling. It's more like you're bouncing and like it's like fun. And she's like, okay. And then we went, and it was like absolutely the most aggressive show settings I've had on that attraction before. And it's been big drops and a lot of the fake outs. And the on-ride photo is hilarious of her just screaming her head off. And then I haven't heard the end of that one. So.
I love Mission Breakout. That is an every time I'm at that park thing. Got to do. It's a rough lightning lane though. That merge, even after that merge, you still wait 20 or 30 minutes. It's rough.
Ant-Man and the Wasp Nano Battle.
Went
Is
to
that
the grand opening
2018?
of that. That's 2019.
2019. Okay. Some of these dates are a little
That
sketchy, right?
that's another one where we
asking
went
AI on
and
this.
we got off of it, and I go, for those that don't know, they got rid of Buzz Lightyear, Astro Blasters at Hong Kong Disneyland, and put in that. It was a big tech upgrade. Those are the guns you're going to see, and the targeting system, all that. You're going to see on the new upgraded Buzz Lightyear in Florida when that happens. It's a little flat. It's projection heavy. It's another one though. I've been on it so many times now that I'm like getting okay with it. I love the game part is fun. There's a fun mechanic to it. I don't want to spoil. If you watch the Hong Kong vlogs, you'll see me spoil it. You'll see me talk about how to do well on that attraction. Those are on the TV channel at WDWNT.tv. Go watch them. All 6 parts are out now. Go watch them all. But I like that. It's a solid. It's fine. It's not, again, neither of the Hong Kong things are earth-shattering, but.
Avengers Campus then opens at DCA,
Yeah.
featuring Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure. I hate that attraction. You kind of don't hate it as much as me, I think. I think you kind of enjoy it.
I don't like it as a theme park ride. I like it as a game. So like as a game, it is fun. But as a major attraction in a Disney theme park, it is junk.
Yeah.
Like this is fun, and I think the game responds. Like it's not glitchy. It's not like Minion Blast at Universal, which is a disaster. Like the thing glitches and lags, and it's how is Universal run by a multi-billion-dollar corporation and that's an attraction? I don't understand. Right. But Spider-Man, like at least it works and it's fun. I wouldn't wait for it.
Until someone reaches in front of you and then never mind. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that to me. I'm nice to you. Avengers Power of the Night, nighttime drone show at Walt Disney Studios Park. Is that 2023-ish? Is that right?
Yeah. That was spectacular.
Is that the one where the guy in Paris sets up the camera rig with like 20 cameras and phones on it?
That happened.
He's like a
that,
guest,
yeah.
but he wears like a jacket that
It
looks
says
like an old
member,
cast
so
member jacket, and people think he belongs there.
That was a whole thing, yeah.
Those pictures
I don't know if
hilarious.
he's still a thing or not. I don't know if that went away. That drone show, we have video of that on the channel. When the Milano is made of drones, the Guardian ship, and then Groot's dancing in the sky. It's really, really cool.
All right, Cruise Line, 2017 Marvel Day at Sea debuted on the Disney Magic, features character meet and greets, live shows, and themed activities.
Never did it.
Then, of course, the Wish launched with Worlds of Marvel, which is, of course, now on the Treasure and will be on the Destiny.
Unfortunately, ate there.
Going back. And more than that, Spider-Man himself is on the stern, and we saw this week the first photos of that.
Yeah.
So
and Black Panther in the lobby.
Black Panther in the
the
that is
atrium.
going to be weird, man.
To it not be a traditional Disney character is crazy.
It's going to look super modern and high tech, and that's going to be very bizarre.
But see, that's again like the traditionalist in me. I'm like, look, I don't mind Marvel characters, any of them being on the ship. That doesn't bother me. Mm-hmm. But like, the atrium is like the castle. It's kind of like when you walk in, you walk to Hub, and it's the moment where it's the big reveal, and you're like, oh wow, or the Main Street, if you want to say. And so for it to like on the other ships, it's Mickey and Minnie and Donald and Cinderella and Aladdin and Jasmine and very traditional Disney. And so for that to open up and be Wakanda and Black Panther, it's going to be a total vibe shift in what a Disney cruise ship has been.
Also, the architectural style, generally speaking, in the early Disney cruise ships was sort of either Art Deco or Art Nouveau. Mm-hmm. They stepped away from that a little bit with Aladdin and Jasmine. They had more of like some Middle Eastern accents and touches. Yeah. This Wakanda one looks wild. This is a place that doesn't exist. Right, at least like the Agrabah is based on like real like architectural styles and stuff. And
I'm excited to see it in person and see how they pulled it off.
Sure. So this is like some elements of like African architecture.
Oh yeah, so there's some real world
very
influence.
high tech like futuristic stuff mixed in. It's going to be totally wild, and it's going to feel weird. I think to go in there for the first time I walk in.
It's kind of the Tomorrowland ship. Right? I know it's heroes and villains. But generally, it's a little bit of like it's Tomorrowlandish, and then the adventure was Adventurelandish, and then the Wish was Fantasyland. Like we're kind of doing land ships. Not really. There's certainly venues that don't fit,
Right.
but for the most part, I'd say that's where we're.
Yeah, I don't know how do you classify the treasure, but it's kind of it's got some elements from theme parks, though. It's a theme park ship. So
It kind of.
you got the haunted, you got New Orleans, you got a little New Orleans Square right across from Adventureland, and you got God, I just drew a blank, but I don't know what Scat Cats would be, but
What, on the new ship?
I'm talking about on the treasure, like all the different things. There's
Well, Scat Cat, it doesn't really fit.
And then you have
Scat Cats is a
Aladdin
little
and Jasmine.
Parisian, and of
Yeah.
course there is some Parisian like influence in if you want to say like Morocco is
Yeah.
kind of the
Yeah.
vibe of the lobby. You can make that transition from Morocco to
They do it
France
beautifully,
pretty
yeah.
seamlessly. They're not far from each other either, so it works.
They make a pretty ship. I'm not gonna
I like the treasure,
interior spaces on Disney cruise ships are beautiful.
except on the Wish.
I think the Cinderella Grand Hall is fine on the Wish. No, you don't like that even. I'll get in trouble forever saying
I like the
anything negative
statue.
about anything that features
I love that
Cinderella.
Lucifer got a statue. That makes me happy. The cat, not the deity.
Really, Cinderella and Jacques and Gus get statues, and all you're celebrating is that Lucifer gets one. It tells me a lot,
I
dude.
like Lucifer.
Tells me a lot.
Cat. It's the cat ship. Cat ship.
That is not what it sounded like you said.
The Wish kind of is, but it's mean to cats.
Oh no. You have any other Marvel things you want to talk about in the parks? Have we wrapped this up? How Disney fans experience?
We talked about
Marvel?
studios. We talked about the project. Oh, Tokyo.
Tokyo.
We didn't talk about It's a Small World with Groot.
Oh yeah, It's a Small World. I forgot about it.
The traditionalist thing. I remember that was announced, and I was like,
That's terrible. They're gonna ruin it.
and then we saw that preview of the figures, and they're beautiful. I was like, oh, it's OLC. That's right.
They do things with heart and
Yeah. I mean, it's Imagineering. It's still Imagineering. It's not just OLC. Like they're hiring Imagineering to do it. And I'll never forget the first day of the trip in April. I think there was a part of me that was with Rosanna's like, I don't want her first experience in the park to be a Marvel overlay of Small World. And I don't even know that I want to do that today necessarily. So we did Winnie the Pooh and these more traditional things, Beauty and the Beast. And but then I was like, I need to see this. I need to see it. And it's wild to hear. It is the most incredible loop, the Marvel songs mixed in the It's a Small World style outside. But then inside, you start to see and you're like, this is not bad. This is actually really well done. I want to be mad at this, but I can't be mad at it. It was just very cute, but the quality was incredible.
tier, yeah.
It was incredible quality. And then what wasn't was there is Marvel in the nighttime show, Reach for the Stars, the projection show, which is, I would dare say, in the 7 years I've been going to Tokyo, the most egregious thing I've ever seen in those parks. I hate that projection show. It's awful. Marvel, the way it's presented in that show, feels so against what that park is.
Yeah.
Like the Groot thing fit. They made it work. And then Reach for the Stars, it feels so forced, and it just doesn't fit the vibe of like Cinderella Castle and this big. It just didn't work. It's a rough.
Not every
rough
nighttime
show.
thing you do works.
Yeah, the Marvel doesn't belong in Tokyo Disneyland.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It has to go somewhere else. And it's not Disney Sea. For the love of humanity, please don't put it in Disney Sea. Just build another park, please. I beg you, please. But I guess Paris. We talked about everything. We talked about Guardians. We didn't really talk about Cosmic Rewind, but everyone knows about
Cosmic
that.
Rewind is the one of the top attractions on property. It's one of the most popular rides. I haven't met anyone that doesn't have a love the ride experience. Most of the criticisms revolve around where it was placed and what it represents.
Or in Jason's case, about it revolving.
About him puking. But I think that's very well done, because I think what a great combination when you take that playlist from Guardians, because Guardians of the Galaxy is really above almost anything else has like an amazing playlist.
Yeah.
And so to incorporate that into the ride, I think is fantastic. We can
Same
talk
as
about whether
Mission
or not it
Breakout. I mean, that
belongs
starts
there
at Mission Breakout, but yeah.
I think I think the Guardians of the Galaxy, the rotate, what is it, 6? How many do they have on Mission Breakout? There's 6 songs
Are they
on
both 6? Or is it 5 on Mission
There's
Breakout?
6 on Cosmic Rewind. I don't know.
Yeah, Cosmic Rewind is 6. I don't remember.
Not counting Run Run Rocket that they
one year and done.
Yeah, one and done.
The Christmas overlay, holiday overlay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
6. All right. Yeah.
Hit Me With Your Best Shot. Give Up the Funk. Born to Be Wild. I Want You Back. Free Ride and Burn in Love.
Burn in Love. That's my favorite one.
My favorite one is Hit Me With Your Best Shot because she says, fire away. And you go and it fires when fire away. And I think that's so fun. I love that.
Good stuff. I'm sure we missed something, but please tell us in the comments.
We had to have.
Talk to us about your Marvel stuff. I mean,
there's certainly more to talk about. Why don't we end on talking about what is the future of Marvel at the parks? We talked about what's coming and
sure. So
DCA,
we have
but what do you think is the future other than that? Is that
so? I think
like,
they can
what's gonna
save that land with what they're adding 2 attractions.
Yeah. If they're both great,
I don't know how the Flight Lab thing is going to be.
I think it'll be fun.
It just reminds me of the Sum of All Thrills type of like.
But like for Tony
stuff that's
Stark,
been done before.
But that whole idea of like you sit in this thing and then it goes down the line and then the arm's going to actually attach and pick you up, and then the whole thing they talked about in the program where they're going to kind of dance.
Yeah.
Like I love like. It kind of becomes like Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters, but Tony Stark version.
But like kind of a Kuka Armish type of experience. I don't know.
I don't want to give people the wrong idea. I don't think they're going to dance like music, but they kind of look like they're.
It doesn't look like
from,
interesting
from
to
when
me.
you're. I like that it's something different, and they're going to have Robert Downey Jr. in it. They're going to have random sequences with other Marvel heroes. I think it could be fun. I don't think it's a show-stopping e-ticket, but I think there could be merit to it. And I'm still real worried about Avengers Infinity Defense because it's going to be real screen heavy.
Yeah.
I worry about that, but I hope. Look, I don't think either of those attractions are going to be my end all be all. They're not going to be, but they might speak to people and they might do well.
I have higher hopes for the non-Marvel stuff that's coming at Disneyland. Yeah. I know this is stupid or whatever. I like rides that take me someplace and show me something. I don't like to remain in the same, like, I'm like a what's around that corner type of person. So, like, you know what? Classic dark rides and boat rides and stuff, actually, I find more interesting than anything with screens or that you want to spin me around on an arm or something. To me, that's like, it's cool, but I like you to actually physically move me through a space.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're going to do enough of that who knows? These Imagineers are pretty smart.
I mean, Infinity Defense, I think you're gonna get taken to some places.
Yeah, but it's going to be very projection based.
Yeah.
So,
it's the same ride system as Peter Pan.
Yeah.
At Tokyo Disney Sea, which in turn is very reminiscent of the Spider-Man attraction that exists at Universal Orlando and did exist at Universal Studios Japan.
Right. I would rather. I don't know. I won't go there.
I mean, Fantastic Four is currently doing meet and greets along with Herbie. I need to go meet Herbie. But Herbie and the Fantastic Four
Why are there
meeting
two non-human
in
Herbie
Tomorrowland
characters in Disney?
In Tomorrowland, so maybe Disney's like, you know what? Maybe we could have Marvel in 2 parks. Maybe the Fantastic Four. Maybe that 60s optimism. I mean, the People Mover song is in the movie.
We've got to save Tomorrowland at Disneyland because it's atrocious.
So like Fantastic Four is that optimistic 1960s view of tomorrow. That's a pretty timeless vision, as is apparent by the success of this movie.
We need this movie to do $1.5 billion to get the company's attention that like maybe people would like this.
I think they want it. I think that's why they put the meet and greets there. I know they exist in a different universe, so it made sense. But
projection show.
I think it makes they're begging for it, right? They were hoping Lightyear would be a big hit for some stuff for Tomorrowland. That didn't happen. And now we're kind of in this lull where they're like, well, what's going to be the thing that drives Tomorrowland? And I think everyone's like this for Fantastic Four.
And I don't want to be that guy. I don't like Toy Story being in Tomorrowland because Tomorrowland to me was a real place when I was a kid. You know what I mean? It represented retro futurism. And Toy Story is just kind of like, well, this is sort of sci-fi-ish. So, Buzz Lightyear is a sci-fi character. So let's do that. And I just don't think that Toy Story belongs there.
I agree. But at least the Lightyear film was based on it was supposed to be real sci-fi. It wasn't based on the toy. But yeah, it is weird. Astro Blasters and Space Ranger Spin have always been weird in Tomorrowland because it's like toys come to life and you're like but Star Tours is right there. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
That
Tomorrowland is just in desperate need of anything.
I mean, ours isn't doing that great either.
No, but it's better. We have a people mover that works.
People mover.
We have our Astro Orbiters up in the air.
Carousel of Progress, and the original Space Mountain.
We have the 2 Space Mountain tracks. We have
Tron.
Which no matter how you feel about it, at least kind of fits the
dirty
theme.
canopy.
Yeah. Get rid of Speedway.
Please.
Just get rid of it.
Please.
Replace it with bushes. I'm happy.
How about just an air-conditioned seating area? How about that? Just do that.
All right. There you have it.
Better than nothing.
Yeah, we'll do that. A Guardians of the Galaxy air-conditioned seating area. Kind of a Marvel prop.
I hope at some point Comcast will relinquish and just realize we should move on with franchises that we own and not our competition, and do something with Superhero Island, and let Disney have it, and just
it's not like the Universal attractions are that deeply themed anyway. Repaint
other
the Hulk.
than Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's wonderful.
Yeah, they could make Spider-Man. They could just cut new film and make it. You know what I mean? Like paint the ride vehicle, paint the queue. You have a skeleton basically to create any ride you want to create. It
could be something else, yeah.
Right? So I'm surprised they don't have a seasonal Spider-Man.
I don't think they're allowed currently. I think they can maintain what they have, but they can't change what they have.
Like Dr. Doom, every theme park, every state fair has a drop tower.
I mean, people like Hulk. People like the Hulk coaster. I get it.
Hulk. I don't know. I still don't feel like they're that invested in it, though. I think it's more like a bargaining chip that they are holding on to.
And the merchandise sells well, and so they like that. And I think eventually Comcast will just there'll be a deal on the table that makes sense, and they'll take it knowing that I don't want to promote my competition's IP. This doesn't help us. We should promote our own IP, which Comcast doesn't have a lot on the table. Wicked being the big one right now, other than DreamWorks and Illumination stuff. So. Maybe that'll be Oz. Maybe Shiz University will take over Marvel Superhero Island. We'll have to wait and see.
Is that it? Are we done?
I think so.
All right, I think we're done. Let us know in the comments what you think and
what
if you
we
have
missed,
ideas.
because I feel like we're missing
create a Marvel
something.
attraction in the comments.
Oh, boy.
Create a new Marvel attraction in the comments. Let us know. Not the first 4 comments who will all be spam bots, but the rest of you. Create a nice Marvel attraction for us. And don't start your things with your creativity inspires me and I love your channel. I get tired of deleting bot comments.
Those are the bot comments. People think we put those there, like those are our bots.
Yeah, I really love that.
We have to delete those on every video. It's a giant pain, but we can't. There's no way other than we block them every time, but a new one just comes. Doesn't matter.
Like Hydra.
Thanks, YouTube. And hail Hydra.
All right, we'll see you next time on the WDW News Today podcast.
We'll see you real soon.